seconds. I'm going to give it 5 seconds to make sure it's connected. Because I never can tell. Okay, Happy New Year's Eve, everyone. Oh my God, can you guys believe that tomorrow will be 2022? I'm actually going to try to do 2 videos right now. I'm going to do one that is all about my 10 favorite foods I discovered this year, or cooking things I discovered. And the other one is going to be about the 10 things that I learned about going vegan low carb this year. So I'm going to do the first one based on the food. Because guys, did we have fun playing with our food this year? I personally had a blast. My other cooking channel, or my other channel, in case anybody doesn't know, it's called The Vegan Kitchen Magician. I've always loved to cook. I'm a huge foodie. I've always loved cooking. I've always loved food. I love all that stuff, right? So going low carb did not mean I was going to quit cooking. It meant I was going to find a way to make some of my favorite things low carb. Okay, not everything. I did not manage to do everything, but I did come up with some ones that ended up being our favorites in our house. So number one of our very first favorite of anything was our 90-second low carb bread. Now there are recipes all over the internet, all over YouTube. You can go anywhere and find recipes for this bread. In my microwave, this bread is made in 45 seconds. I took creative license with the recipe and changed it a lot, but anybody can do that. Once you make it a couple times their way, then you can change it to your way. Okay, so like one of the ways that I changed it the most is the flour. They use a lot of almond flour. I discovered Lupine Flour, which is number 2 on my list for this year. It should probably be number 1. Lupine Flour and Lupine Flower, said both ways, is from a special bean that's kind of like a nut, kind of like a bean, but it's really, really low carb, like almost 0 carbs. Like the Lupine hummus has 0 carbs. So, you know, it's an amazing nut bean thing. But it makes this amazing low carb flour that's very high in protein, almost 0. It's like 1 carb. Okay, so yeah, I discovered that and boom, I was off and running. So that is where my 90-second bread recipe kind of evolved from. But still, I'm going to tell you guys that I tell everybody this: when you first decide to go low carb, figure out what your non-negotiables are. For me, at the time when I went low carb, it was bread was number 1. I had to have bread, and I had to have some sort of a sweet treat or a little dessert thing after dinner. Okay, so those 2 things were non-negotiable in the beginning. Okay, so number 2, like I said, was the Lupine Flour. You guys, I'm telling you, I get mine from Amazon because I haven't found a place I can buy it in real life. Especially right now during COVID, it's just not something I can source other than Amazon. It just is what it is. Okay, so and there's several different brands now. When I started, there was only 1 brand that I could find. Now there's several different brands. You can buy bigger bags of it, so it's becoming pretty mainstream. Okay, number 3 on our list. This is my husband's favorite thing that I did this whole year. Again, because of the Lupine Flour, I figured out how to make him onion rings. My husband loves onion rings, and that is number 1 on his list was the onion rings. He loves them. I've only made them twice in the whole year because they're a pain in the butt. It's a lot of oil. I don't like him eating really greasy stuff and like the stuff, so I don't make them often. But they're so popular that I've only made them twice, and he still talks about them. They're really good. Okay, tofu salmon. Have you guys seen the videos on this? Put tofu salmon in the search bar in YouTube. Edgy Veg and Soft Stash, 2 of my favorite YouTubers, and they showed how to make this, and I was off and running with it. And I've made it several times. We love it. I love it. They don't use fish sauce for theirs, the vegan fish sauce, and I don't know why they wouldn't. Like, I marinate mine all night with the vegan fish sauce and all my other, you know, the seaweed and all that stuff. I put all that stuff in there. And here's a little tip for you guys. Did you know that mushrooms, if you let them get a little old, smell like fish? Have you guys ever noticed that? They're, you know, you're like, ugh, I don't want to eat that. Doesn't, you know, ugh. It smells like fish. So if you take some older mushrooms, I just let a few of them get old in a bowl in my fridge and then sprinkle them in there. You really get a fishy taste. There's another little tip. You'll like that one. Okay, bread. Now, not the 90-second bread, not the, it's called 90-second bread, but 1 minute bread, whatever. Not the 1-carb bread. That's what I call it. Bread. I found recipes all over YouTube for the best keto bread, the best low carb bread, blah, blah, blah. And I just started making all the different ones and trying all the different ones until I found one that I really like. I think it's Keto Fusion. I think it's Keto Fusion that makes the one I like. But it doesn't matter because they're all over the internet and they're all kind of pretty much the same. You just find one with minimal ingredients or one that suits your fancy or uses ingredients that you have in your house. But it made this loaf of bread that was like this tall. The pieces were bigger than my hand. I was like, holy crap. And they were only 1 carb each. I know, I figured it all out myself. I put every single ingredient into Carb Manager. I added everything up and then I figured out the carbs myself. And I was shocked. I was like, holy crap. So I make that at least once every couple weeks. My husband has just started recently. We've changed our eating windows because we do that intermittent fasting. We have an eating window, and we've changed our eating window. So he takes lunches now to his work because he works swing shift, and so his lunch is his main meal. And so I make that for his lunches, and sometimes that's my protein because it's like 20 something grams of protein in a piece of this bread, right? And sometimes I'm just like, I don't feel like figuring out a vegan protein for the diet. I want tofu or whatever, so I just have the bread. And that leads us into number 6, tofu. I've discovered, oh my God, there is 1,000 ways you can make tofu. I see people all the time going, hey, I'm just trying to learn to like tofu. How can I make it? I'm like, Google it. Google how to make tofu. There is 1,000 million recipes. Look it up on YouTube. There is so many recipes, and pretty soon you'll get the knack for it yourself, and you'll start making your own sauces, and you'll try air frying, you'll try baking, you'll try frying, dry frying. I mean, 1,000 ways. Guys, tofu is a game changer for me. I love tofu. Number 7 on my list is seitan. If you don't know what seitan is or you've never used it, it's just a vegan form of meat that's made from vital wheat gluten, which is the gluten from wheat. So if you are celiac or you have gluten issues or gluten intolerant or whatever, this would probably not be something you should indulge in. But we don't have those issues, and we did learn to make this. It's very high in protein, very low in carbs. I don't really know why. I guess because all the starch is removed maybe. But it's amazing. It's amazing. You can make roasts and steaks, and you can make anything. There's pretty much nothing you can't make out of it. Everybody makes their Thanksgiving turkeys. I belong to like some vegan communities, and it is used a lot. There's a group on Facebook called the Seitan Appreciation Society that I belong to, and thousands of people belong to, and you can learn how to make it in there. You can learn all the different recipes and stuff about it if you want to. It's amazing. Okay, number 8 on my list is sugar-free, everything-free jam. How come my whole life, I just make jelly with my mom in the summer. Wow, what a production. We had these great big cannon pots, and we had 1,000,000 jars, and we had to scald all the jars out, and then we had to put them in this pot and boil them, and then we had to cook the jam all hot in the steamy pot, then we had to pour it into these jars, then we had to cap them, then we had to cook them. And why did we do all that? Do you know to make jam, you take a cup or 2 cups of berries, put them in a pan. Don't put any water or anything in there, because really ripe berries like fresh blackberries that we picked this summer, raspberries that we picked, some really good strawberries we got, and blueberries specifically, they all have plenty of liquid in them. Okay, so you put them all in a little pot. I put a lid over mine and I leave them alone until the next time I go look. They're all cooked up. They're all kind of chunky and cooked looking and stuff. You can eat them just like that. Just put it in a jar and it will thicken all on its own. The pectin that's in the fruit will cause it to thicken. And if it's not sweet enough, put a little stevia in there, or put some of the allulose or monk's fruit, or one of the keto considered sugars, the no sugar sugars, whatever. Use one of those, But we haven't needed it. So really, seriously, low carb jam. That's the way to do it. And we only use berries because berries are the lowest carb fruits, so that's what we use. Okay. So 9 and 10 on my list are junk foods, and they're not things that we will be having very often, and I'll explain why here in a minute. Okay, so number 9 is cheesecake. Okay, I found this vegan cream cheese right before Christmas that was, might I just say, amazing. This cream cheese was so good. We started out, we were eating it on bagels, and we were all like, oh my God. Oh, yes, we did learn how to make, I've learned how to make low carb everything. So we had some low carb bagels. We got us some cream cheese. We put it on there. It was outstanding. The best cream cheese. And you want to know, it was follow your heart cream cheese. Best thing ever. But shortly after I found the cream cheese, I started reading some articles and getting sent some information on sugar. I've tried to eliminate every single scrap of sugar in my life, not realizing. Oh, so sorry. I usually try to always turn my phone off before I do this, but as you can see, I forgot. I apologize for that. How rude. So sorry. Where was I? Okay, so I was getting sent all this information about sugar, and I started watching these videos. I was reading all this information, and I walked. Okay, when I went vegan, I did it overnight. I just gave up every single scrap of sugar in my life overnight. Same thing happened. I was traumatized by the things I saw about eating meat, the meat industry and stuff, and that caused me to go vegan. Well, I just got traumatized by the sugar industry, and that has caused me to go whatever you are when you refuse to eat a scrap of sugar in your life. So I came home and I went through my refrigerator, my cupboards, everything. I mean, I checked every single item that I had that is processed, because unprocessed, that's easy to know if you got sugar or not, right? I kind of freaked out. My cream cheese that I loved, my blue cheese that I love, both of them vegan from Whole Foods, both of them had to go. Both had sugar. I was so upset. What was something else that had sugar that I don't think I was really too freaked out about. Now my husband's vegan mayonnaise that he likes has sugar, and he was not happy about that. And I left that between him and the mayonnaise. He's a grown up. He can decide. Okay, so that's none of my business. But yeah, I won't be having my cheesecake again, but I will tell you, if you ever want to make a vegan cheesecake that is the best cheesecake you'll ever make, cooked or instant. I made it both ways. It was amazing. The Follow Your Heart cream cheese with 1 gram of sugar per serving, so I don't know how many per container. I didn't figure all that out. I was just disgusted that it had sugar. It's up to you. It's up to you. Okay, number 10 on the list is nachos. Okay, so we figured out that if you took the low carb tortillas, or three carbs per tortilla, we took a whole pack, so that's 24 carbs for the whole pack. We cut them into the little things, chip sizes, threw them in our air fryer, air fried them, threw them on a tray, and then threw our non-dairy cheese and on our non-meat meat, and threw all of our nacho goodies on there and stuff, and cooked it up and just had a ball one night with our grandson, right? And I still say it was one of our very favorite things that we did this year, and they're still talking about it. All the kids are talking about it. I mean, they loved it because we've done it with other grandkids. It's not something we'll have very often, and it will only be a grandkid thing. I don't like eating those nachos very often because they have weed in them, and it does seem like I feel the fact that it has weed in my joints and stuff, and I don't know if I really do, but I think I do, so that's enough for me not to want to have them very often. Okay, so that is it. That's our 10 favorite things for the year. Okay, the only other thing I will add to this list, because my grandson said I should, was that there was a sale up here on Impossible Meat, the 2-pack burgers, and there is a difference between those and the 1 pound thing I found out. And we had bought a whole bunch of these packs of these 2-pack burgers, right? Because they were like $1.19. There was like a closeout on them, right? And I made a giant meatloaf out of this stuff last summer. Everybody is still talking about this meatloaf. I have tried to make it with the 1 pound thingies for these guys. It's not the same. I do it exactly the same, and it's never the same. Go figure. I don't know what was going on with those 2-pack patties, but they were just different. So that's the only thing I'm going to add to this, was that meatloaf last summer was amazing. Alright guys, that's our top 10 favorite for the year. Hope you enjoyed this video, and tomorrow I will be posting the one for Happy New Year's. Alright, bye everyone.